customers are busy at this time. You have a collect.
Cell phones. Yep. Most people can't imagine a life without one of these guys. Some people have even two. I know when I worked, yep, I had two. Personal cell phone and then my work phone. But about 2 months ago, I came to a point where I had to decide, was this thing helping me or was it controlling me? And that's when I decided, no more cell phone. And here is why and what happened next. And some of the challenges that I faced. And you know what? They weren't expected. And that was real interesting. So stick with me to hear what happens next. So, why I gave up my cell phone? Well, it was one evening I was sitting in my chair watching TV, and every time a commercial would pop up, I would pull my phone out, start scrolling, watching YouTube shorts. And then my wife came out and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm watching TV." "But you got your phone." "Yeah, I'm multitasking. I'm watching TV and watching YouTube shorts." She said, "Yeah, but you forgot about your hard-boiled eggs on the stove. The water's boiling over." Yep, I forgot about those. And that's when I realized, yeah, I might have a problem. And so I started to go down this path of, man, should I do something about this cell phone that I have? Well, the first thing that came to mind was cost, right? So what is this thing costing me? Well, between the device, the plan, and all the little extras that keep me connected, well, I was spending hundreds of dollars just to do that. And most of those reasons, they weren't essential. Then there was the time that I lost just staring at the screen. Now that I was going down this path, I was conscious of what I was doing with my cell phone. And I would catch myself just staring at the screen, staring at my phone, more than I was doing anything else. Hours lost to scrolling, checking, refreshing. And I kind of said, I kind of want some of that time back. And when I was doing these things, it wasn't like I was on a treadmill running or on a long walk. No, I was sitting down, doing nothing. Sometimes hours would go by and I wouldn't even realize it. That can't be good for me in retirement. Then there's the constant need to be doing something. You get that way sometimes where you just have to be doing something? Let me know in the comments if that is you. But my cell phone, it trained me to be busy all the time. There are a bunch of apps on there and every app needs to be opened, touched, played with, done something with. Even if it's not the most important thing that I need to do that day. Yeah, I could spend hours doing something on my phone, don't make sense, and I don't get those things done that I really need to do. Yeah, I need to break that cycle. So let's talk about some of the challenges. Some of the challenges that I faced when I gave up my cell phone, just staying connected to family and friends. Good thing I don't have too many friends. Yep. But with my friends, yeah, we connect on Messenger. We've been doing that anyway for a long time. Whether it's just texting back and forth or even calling each other. We just use Messenger. And then our kids, we got two kids. And, when they need to get a hold of us, they just call mom's cell phone anyway. They always call mom's cell phone. They never call dad. I don't know. Why not? So that wasn't a big transition, right? Trying to stay connected to family and friends. But what was a major problem was these verification checks, right? These verification headaches that I got in that, you know, when you want to log on to one of these sites that you belong to and they want to send you a pin to or text you a pin to your cell phone. Well, that's what was happening with me, although I didn't have a cell phone. And so I spent the first 2 weeks after I gave up my phone trying to get a hold of all these places and deleting my cell phone and adding my wife's cell phone just so that when I did need to log on to one of their sites and they send me a pin, right, I'll go to my wife's cell phone. And that wasn't an issue. And so that was a good fix, right? Took a little while, but prior planning. So if this is something that you're thinking of doing, giving up your cell phone, make sure you get all those phone numbers changed. Verification checks. You won't have to go through the same problems I did. And then there's losing the everyday tools that we use, like GPS, right? GPS, or there's no quick way to get weather updates or instant emails, right? Refresh your email and check that. But the GPS is probably the most critical one, right? Because you want to go somewhere, you plug in the address, and you just drive. Somebody will say turn left, turn right, and we'll do that. It's mindless. You just go. If that thing breaks down, you won't know where you're at. You'll be lost. That's happened. But now I got to do a little pre-planning, right? If I'm going to go somewhere, I got to look at a map. I got to be old school. Look at a map, know what road I'm going to take, what street I'm going to turn left or right, know where the address is, if the address is on the left side or the right side of the road. I got to know that up front before I leave. And that's pretty cool, right? Going back to old school, not a problem. And then there's the fidgeting factor. So it's amazing how many times that I reach for my phone when I'm not doing anything. It's like I just have to be doing something, right? Touching something. And so a good example is, when we go to the doctor's office, you check in, you sit down, and the first thing you do is you pull out that phone and you start scrolling. Then they call you and they put you in that room. Now you're waiting for the doctor, who knows how long. The first thing you do is you pull out your phone and you start scrolling some more. Now that I gave up my phone, I got to replace that time with something else. And now it's reading a book, or for me, it's more of journaling and planning, right? It's sitting there and thinking of the next things that I need to do. Got paper and pencil, be able to write down, especially like with this YouTube channel, thinking about things that I need to do with the channel to make it grow, to make it better. Or maybe it's the next fishing trip where I want to go and do a checklist of all those things that I need to do prior to going on that fishing trip. And so those are, for me, a better utilize of my time versus just aimlessly scrolling my cell phone. I wanted to get away from that. So let's talk lessons learned. So the first lessons that I learned after 2 months of not having a cell phone is, I can live without a cell phone. In the beginning, I said that, most people can't imagine living their life without a cell phone. And if you're working, I can understand that. You probably need that cell phone. But I'm retired. And so there's no reason why I need a cell phone, at least none that I've found yet. So after 2 months, I proved to myself that living life without a cell phone, it's possible. And sometimes for me, it's even better. So let's talk about the financial costs, right? So yeah, it's not cheap, especially if you have one of these Apple iPhones. Man, they're expensive. And you're getting a new one every year, other year. It costs you a lot of money. For me, I was paying about $55 for my plan. So not having my cell phone, not having my number, yeah, that's saving me $55 a month, about $660 a year. That's enough money to buy some worms when I go fishing. Now I don't have to go dig in the dirt and look for some. And then there's also distractors, right? The freedom from distraction. Remember them hard-boiled eggs? Yeah, that's a kind of scary thing. It could be hard-boiled eggs, or it could be driving on the road. Especially when you get older, those distractions could create a major problem for somebody. And that's something that I don't need. So instead of scrolling, checking, refreshing, or answering the calls from robo calls or sales calls, somebody wants to put on a new roof for me or sell me some car warranties. you, you name it, there's those scammers, they're out there, they're looking for you. But now without a cell phone, I'm always present, right? Go to the doctor's office, I'm present. I can see everything around me. I know what's going on around me. And I think that is a good thing. And sometimes, I even enjoy the silence of just sitting there. So when I gave up my cell phone, it did come with challenges, but it also came with cost savings. Now I can afford those worms when I go fishing. And it gave me freedom. Cell phone don't control me anymore. And it's given me a peace of mind. Now I'm not telling you you have to give up your cell phone. Not completely. But you do need to take control back. And if you do, you'll find a life that is quieter, simpler, and you'll find a lot more human. So if you like this content, another one's going to pop up here. Another video. Click on it, and I'll see you over there. This is Chandler's Retirement Live saying, be safe out there. Lights out.